The following is a presentation of the Game Time Sports Network. From the campus of Cleveland State Community College in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, this is Cleveland State Volleyball. And now it's game time. Yes, indeed, folks. It is indeed game time, or match time, as it were. I'm Jay Harper, Game Time Sports Network. Excited to be back on the campus of Cleveland State Community College as the Lady Cougars remain undefeated in TCCAA play as they face another conference foe tonight. That would be the Roane State Lady Raiders. And Nolan McDaniel, he is short a couple of players. We'll get into that here in just a moment. Roane State, they are led by their first-year head coach, Jamie Hannon, and she's assisted by Haley Jenkins, who is actually a former Roane State player. She's in her second year as an assistant. Roane State coming into this match 1-6 in the conference, 5-16 overall, and they will be missing a handful of players as well. But the core of their crew on site here for this match against the Lady Cougars of Cleveland State. So again, let's get to the missing players for Coach McDaniel. He's got a couple of ladies that are injured. They are out, and Aaliyah Rogers, who is so crucial to this team, she is out with an injury, and so is Sailor Clark. Sailor will be out for the rest of the season, we're told. That is certainly sad news for not only the team, but for Sailor as well, the talented freshman from East Hamilton High out of Chattanooga. Aaliyah, who is the lead, she is just a leader, period, on this Cleveland State team. Aaliyah leading the team with 171 kills. And again, she is out for this particular match due to injury. The Lady Cougars, as I mentioned, they are undefeated in conference play, TCCAA play, coming into this match 9-0. They are 16-1 overall. They did drop their first match of the season back on October 1st when Gadsden State, of course a non-conference opponent, but Gadsden State came here to L. Quinton Lane Gymnasium on the Cleveland State campus and defeated Cleveland State for the first time this season as they lost 3-2. They gave Gadsden State a real run, but ended up dropping that match. The most recent matches, October 11th at Jackson State, Cleveland State coming out victorious there, 3-1. They were also at Dyersburg State the day before on October 10 and won that match in 3 straight sets. And they also visited Chattanooga State on that road run back on October 7th, winning that match 3-1. So we are about to get started here. We are just minutes away from this conference match as Cleveland State facing Roane State. The next match actually coming up in just a couple of days on Thursday when Pellissippi State will roll into the Cleveland State campus. October 16th, that's Thursday. It's a 6 o'clock start. Now, keep in mind, that's Eastern Daylight Time. And we will have that live stream for you. Cleveland State versus Pellissippi State coming up this Thursday. And that will be the last conference home match that we will be live streaming. The regional tournament this year happening on the campus of Walter State in Morristown, Tennessee. Last year, we at the Game Time Sports Network had the honor of live streaming, carrying the conference tournament on the campus of Roane State, thanks to the hospitality and confidence from their wonderful athletic director, David Lane. And we appreciate David entrusting that to us. Walter State, the host this season, and Chuck Sebastian with Inside the Press Box, who is the home, if you will, the home live stream provider for Walter State Athletics. They will be covering the tournament this season. So we will get underway here shortly with roster introductions from Richard Murray with Cleveland State. He will be announcing that here shortly. And we'll get the national anthem underway as well. Our officials for this match: Tia Woods will be one of the line judges. Jordan Rouse, also line judge. Bill Powell, the down ref, and the number one ref up in the stand will be Dan Swaggerty. So there are your officials for this match. And now the introductions are about to commence.
For this evening's TCCAA volleyball action. Before we begin tonight's lineup, we ask everyone to please rise and honor America with the playing of our national anthem. And now let's begin tonight's lineup. First, for Roane State. Number 1, McKenna Cameron. Number 2, Jenna Hensley. Number 4, Delane Anderson. Audrey Brown. Number 21, Ellie Merle. Number 23, Madison DeFay. Number 24, Lily Cathcart. Number 26, Caitlin Foster. Number 31, Lily Denham. Number 32, Raygon Reaver. Assistant coach of the Raiders is Haley Jenkins, their head coach, Jamie Hannon. And now the line for the Cougars. Number 1, Taylor Gillespie. Number 2, Aaliyah Rogers. Number 3, Brooklyn Mathis. Number 4, Piper Fowler. Number 5, Zoe Dillon. Number 6, Taylor Clark. Number 10, Marissa Ray. Number 11, Kenzie Collins. Number 13, Kennedy Jones. Number 14, Elaine Collins. Number 15, Caroline Church. Number 16, Megan Crocker. Number 17, Isabella Messer. Number 23, Ray Frakes. Associate coach of the Cougars is Nolan McDaniel. Our head coach for our country and our rep, Peyton McDaniel.
And we are just about ready to get things underway. There are a handful of players for Coach Hannon's Roane State squad that are out for this match. Jenna Hensley, Jelaine Anderson, and Reagan Reeder not in this particular contest. Madison Buffet, number 23 for Roane State. She is certainly someone to keep our eye on. She leads the team with an amazing 139 kills. And number 10, Jalen Bullock. She has 314 digs on the season. Are you kidding? So we will be paying some attention to her. I'm guessing we'll be saying her name quite a bit here this evening. Izzy Messer leading the Cleveland State squad in digs with 285. And we had mentioned earlier that Aaliyah Rogers, who sadly is out with an injury, she leads the team with 171 kills. But again, she will not be in this particular match. She's sitting on the bench in street clothes along with Sailor Clark. Again, Dan Swaggerty, the number 1 ref, up in the stand. And Bill Powell, the down ref. Line judges, Tia Woods and Jordan Rouse. Cleveland State in white, and the Roane State Lady Raiders decked out in the nice red jerseys. On to serve, Roane State, and away we go from El Quinton Lane Gymnasium, and already Roane State coming up with a point here on the inability to return the serve. And that one gets shanked by Zoe Dillard. Up 2-0 now are the Lady Raiders. On serve, it is McKenna Cameron. The lefty puts it across and fires an ace to make it 3-0. McKenna Cameron, a freshman, as she tees it up once again. Dillard gets a touch, and Crocker. Now there's Cameron, and Crocker cannot return on the kill. Quickly 4-zip here with McKenna Cameron still on serve for Roane State. That was a bit wide and results in the first point for the Lady Cougars, as Zoe Dillard, the sophomore from Murfreesboro, she now on the serve. And touched by Bullock. Now Messer gets a hand on it. And there, number 13, or 23, pardon me, Madison Buffet keeps the ball alive. Cameron puts it up, and Messer saving it. Now Piper Bowers as Lainey Cotter put it back across, and the Lady Cougars coming up with the point. Dillard back on serve. Buffet can't quite get it across, so we are at 4-3 now. With Dillard back on serve. Bullock with the touch. Buffet giving it a hard return. And that return from Reagan Frakes, the freshman from Lawrenceburg, just a bit too long. Buffet on serve. Dillard now to Bowers. Cotter. And Bowers tried to keep it alive, as did Frakes. But the service now going back to Madison Buffet. She too a freshman. And that is out. So now Caroline Church puts it in play. First touch by Jaden Parker. Now Parker tries to get it back across and does successfully. Kennedy Caudle just could not quite get a good hand on things there, and her effort to return not successful. So it is back on serve for Roane State with the sophomore Jalen Bullock. Bowers teeing it up for Cotter. Parker gets it to Cameron. Bullock with the touch. Now back over to Cameron. And trying to put back over was Audrey Brown, and she did. Number 19 for Roane State. Now Cameron sets it up for Parker. And that called a bit long. And thus the point going Cleveland State's way. 7-5 as Roane State giving off to a quick start. On serve was Brooklyn Mathis, number 3. And she touches once again, giving it to Izzy Messer. And they just can't quite get the return as Cotter comes up empty. Now on serve, it is Kennedy Hayden, a sophomore for Roane State, number 8. Across, and Mathis touches. Bowers with a strong return. Messer with the dig. Now back over to Mathis. And Lainey Cotter gave it a good smack, but there was Roane State to block and thus pick up point number 9. Hayden with the serve. Bowers gets it to Messer. Now Piper puts it across. Bullock with the touch. Back over to Parker. And Izzy Messer keeps it alive. Cotter slaps it back across. Here's Parker. Now to Dillard. Bullock back to Cameron. Piper Bowers, a nice return. Roane State doing a great job. Both teams on this volley. Cotter. Boy, that hurts just to hear it slap their hand like that with the flat hand. And Roane State wins that battle. And we've got to whistle a timeout from Coach McDaniel and Cleveland State. We'll step aside briefly on the Game Time Sports Network.
It's
Jay Harper. Join me and Nashville radio legend John Bozeman, known as Johnny B, as we gab about all things radio, entertainment, and music in the Circling the Drain podcast. We share stories and experiences from our more than 90 combined years of being in the biz. Yeah, we're old. Come along for the ride. You never know where it may take you. It's the Circling the Drain podcast, available every Wednesday morning on all podcast platforms. Cleveland State down by 5 as Roane State has doubled up on the Lady Cougars. As back on serve goes Roane State. That was a bit long from Kinley Hayden. So Megan Crocker, the sophomore from Bethlehem, Georgia, will put it in service. Buffet with the touch now to Cameron. And that is Parker, number 12. Gets a hand on it. Cameron slaps it across, but just a little too strong to make it 10-7. Megan Crocker back for service once again. Cameron with the touch. That's Caitlin Foster, number 26, getting a hand on it. And a fierce return from Zoe Dillard, the 5'7" sophomore out of the borough, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Crocker back on serve. And it's another point for Cleveland State as they pull within one now. Crocker back to serve. Buffet with the touch. Now Cameron puts it up for Foster. We have the line judge awarding the point to tie things up at 10-all. Crocker gets it to Buffet. Foster is rejected by Kennedy Caudle. And that will put the Lady Cougars up for the first time in this set. Crocker with a gentle serve. Cameron teeing it up for Parker. And there is Jaden, the freshman, to pick up the point and tie us back up. Jaden Parker going on serve. Mathis teeing it up, and a slam from Dillard. She approached the net and just reared back and fired it across to make it 12-11 and had a wry smile as she walked away. Messer with the serve. Parker touching. Now over to Cameron Buffet. And that is long and wide. Messer on serve. Izzy across. Foster and Crocker cannot return. That makes it 13-12. And now here is Caitlin Foster, a sophomore. And the serve doesn't go their way. Piper Bowers, who was named the TCCAA Offensive Player of the Week. She's on serve now for Cleveland State. And Bullock doing a super job of keeping that alive for the Lady Raiders. There's Dillard making a statement. Zoe being called upon to help. I'm not going to say replace Aaliyah Rogers, but because nobody can, but she's certainly being called upon to pick up a little slack with the absence of Rogers. Buffet is rejected. Nicely done I believe that was Reagan Frakes who got a hand on it. Messer with the dig. Bowers. Now there's Cameron. Bullock teeing it up. And Foster getting it across. Piper Bowers and Zoe Dillard. Oh, they are saying that she touched it while out of bounds. So the point being awarded to Roane State. We've got a dandy here, a close set. And I have a feeling it may be this way throughout the entire match. And there is Dillard making her statement. Zoe now will go on serve. Bullock first to touch. There's Cameron. Number 19, Audrey Brown in the match now for Roane State, the sophomore, and the Lady Raiders drawing 1 point closer to make it 16-15. And here is the kill leader for Roane State, Madison Buffet, to put it in serve. Cameron putting it up for Aubrey Brown, but Cleveland State going up by 2. Messer comes out, and Caudle comes in for Coach McDaniel. Parker with a hard return. Cameron slapping it across, but it is long. Remaining on serve is Caroline Church out of Kingsport, Tennessee. And that is long. Messer back in as Caroline Church will take a seat for a bit. On serve now for Roane State. It's their sophomore, Jalen Bullock, who leads the team in digs with just an eye-popping 314 coming into this match. Brooklyn Mathis coming in to replace Reagan Frakes on the Cleveland State side of the court. Bullock to Cameron. And a nice return from number 26, Caitlin Foster. That makes it 19-17. As the Lady Raiders remaining on serve, of course. Hayden puts it across, and that is just wide as Kennedy Caudle had a little too much on that one. Hayden back to serve once again. And that had a lot of air and just went too long. This match moving along at a very brisk pace. Megan Crocker delivers. Keeping it alive is Parker. Izzy Messer. Now Messer keeping it alive again. Izzy with the touch, teeing it up for Dillard. Now there's Bullock. Cameron over to Parker. And just too long. And we've got a whistle and a timeout from Coach Jamie Hannon, the first-year coach for the Roane State Lady Raiders, as we step aside briefly on the Game Time Sports Network. Back live from El Quinton Lane Gymnasium, I'm Jay Harper, Game Time Sports Network. We want to send our best wishes and a super shout out to Cougars head volleyball coach Peyton McDaniel, who is proudly serving our country in the Middle East. She's in the Air Force Reserves, got deployed, and we are wishing her well and hoping she returns home safely very soon. Cameron for Roane State teeing it up for Parker, but that's just a bit wide. No, they're saying it did, in fact, go in. It looked a bit wide from my vantage point, but I'm a good distance away here. Parker with the serve. Messer to Mathis, and now there's Zoe Dillard. Gosh, she's a killer. As I mentioned a moment ago, nobody can take the place of Aaliyah Rogers, who is out for this game with an injury. She is hopefully going to return here in a couple of days, but Zoe Dillard doing her part. Buffet now to Messer, and Mathis over to Piper Bowers, and touched nicely by Kinley Hayden. Here's Buffet. Oh, what a beautiful touch on that. Yeah, she looked like she was going to slam it through the hardwood, and then just gently touched it and got it back over the net. Here to serve now is Caitlin Foster. And a nice touch from Lily Cathcart, number 24 in the match now for Roane State. Mathis keeps it alive. There's Dillard doing her part. Now Bowers with the touch and slamming it across is Caroline Church. Another long volley, but yeah, there is Dillard to take care of that. Yeah, no long volley when she gets a touch. Piper Bowers back on serve. Cameron, Buffet. Oh, there's the nice dig from the dig leader for Cleveland State, Izzy Messer, and another point will bring us to set point for Cleveland State as Piper Bowers now delivers. Bullock to Cameron. Here's Buffet. Bowers over to Messer now. Dillard with a nice touch across. Can it be returned? Parker gets a hand on it. Oh, nicely saved by Caroline Church. Reagan Frakes touched it out of bounds, so the point being awarded now to Roane State as this match or set really tightens up. On serve, it's the freshman McKenna Cameron. Bowers, and there you have it. Set number one. It goes to Cleveland State, as we now will switch sides and get the second set underway here in a moment from El Quinton Lane Gymnasium. This is the Game Time Sports Network. Jay Harper. Join me and Nashville radio legend John Bozeman, known as Johnny B, as we gab about all things radio, entertainment, and music in the Circling the Drain podcast. We share stories and experiences from our more than 90 combined years of being in the biz. Yeah, we're old. Come along for the ride. You never know where it may take you. It's the Circling the Drain podcast, available every Wednesday morning on all podcast platforms. back to El Quinton Lane Gymnasium on the campus of Cleveland State Community College. Jay Harper, excited to join you here for another exciting match. Cleveland State Volleyball, as Roane State, they are giving Cleveland State a run for their money. The first set just completing with the Lady Cougars coming out on top. 25-21 as the Lady Raiders got off to a quick start. They were up to a 4-0 start there. But the Lady Cougars hanging in there and making sure that they came out victorious. Our next match will be the final home conference match in just a couple of days, Thursday night, when Pellissippi State comes from Knoxville to face the Lady Cougars. That'll be a 6 p.m. start. So we hear the buzzer, and it is time to get set number 2 underway. Again, our officials, Dan Swaggerty, ref number 1 up in the stand. Bill Powell's the down ref. Tia Woods, line judge, and Jordan Rouse also a line judge in this match. Piper Bowers will go on serve to get this match underway. And off we go. And the first point headed to Roane State as Bowers' serve was long. Messer, the first to touch. Bowers teeing it up. But there was number 24, Lily Cathcart, to reject the return from Dillard to make it 2-0. Foster on serve, and that is a little too long. So quickly, the Cougars back on serve with the sophomore Zoe Dillard doing the honors. Touch by Parker. Now Cameron gets it to Buffet. Messer with the dig. Now here's Bowers for Cotter, number 14. Zoe and Bowers to Cotter. Buffet, and Caroline Church was there to block it, but it just spun off her hand. That makes it 3-1. And back on service once again, Roane State with McKenna Cameron doing the honors. Just barely getting it across the net. There's Messer to save it. Parker to Cameron, and Buffet. It's easy to see why she leads the team in kills. My goodness. Messer to Bowers. Cotter, Laney gets it across nicely. Bullock with the dig. Zoe, and reaching over the net. The ball was still on the Cleveland State side of the net, but Buffet reaching across and picking up the point. And that serve just way too long. As Cleveland State managing to cut this lead in half, 4-2. And here's Caroline Church. Bullock to Cameron. Laney out the point. Laney Cotter could not quite get it across. And Cotter and Church will have a seat. And into the match now, Jayla Gillespie, number 1 for Cleveland State. And Caudle also back in. And here's Madison Buffet, a freshman, as she delivers the serve for the Lady Raiders. Bowers giving it to Gillespie, and Bullock laying out with the dig to keep it alive. And a nice return as Kennedy Caudle makes her presence known right away. Frakes out, and Brooklyn Mathis in for Coach McDaniel. Cameron puts it up for Parker, and there's Messer. Gillespie. Parker puts it across with the left hand. Now Gillespie keeps it going. And here's Cameron teeing it up for Cathcart, number 24. Caudle picks up the point for Cleveland State to pull within 1. Coach Nolan McDaniel calling out some instructions to his squad. And with the soft touch and the point to tie it up are the Lady Cougars. With Brooklyn Mathis on serve, and flat hands it, can't quite get it across. So that a point for the Lady Raiders. Lily Cathcart takes a breather, and Caitlin Foster in now. I don't have any height measurements for these Roane State players on the roster that I was provided. And Cleveland State picks up that point. So no height figures for Roane State on the roster. But I must say, Caitlin Foster, she has got to be about 6'1" or 6'2". She is a tall young lady. Beautifully put across by Zoe Dillard. And now Megan Crocker will be on serve. Coach McDaniel again calling out words of encouragement. He is fairly demure on the sidelines. Just kind of lets his team do their thing. It's not one to really bark out anything as that goes long. That ties us up at 7 and puts Kinley Hayden on serve. Well, Zoe Dillard let that go by thinking it was a bit wide, but it hit the line. Hayden still on serve, of course. And Caudle. Kennedy saying, out of my way. That ties us at 8. And now Izzy Messer delivers the serve. Jaden Parker, number 12, returns. And can they keep this alive? Mathis did a wonderful job of keeping that in play for the Lady Cougars, and she touches again. Messer sets it up for Dillard. Parker. Messer. Oh, my goodness. A valiant, great effort. But Roane State walking away with that point as Jaden Parker will deliver the serve. Dillard to Mathis, and now Dillard back touching it again. Bowers with the dig, keeping it alive. There's Messer. Now Cameron puts it up for Buffet. Parker back to Buffet. Bowers now over to Megan Crocker. There's Zoe Dillard. Bullock keeps it going. Now Buffet with the soft touch. Back over to Crocker as she lays out. Now here's Dillard. And finally, after the long volley, Dillard returns and picks up the point to tie us at 9. Frakes back in as Brooklyn Mathis, a sophomore from Denton, Texas, will take a seat. And Roane State, after that short volley, once again assumes the lead, 10-9. Bullock now out, and another very tall Roane State young lady, Lily Cathcart, a freshman, back in the match. Foster on serve. Messer now to Bowers. And slapping it across for the point. Reagan Frakes. Bullock back in. And so is Gillespie for Cleveland State. Bullock for Roane State. As Zoe Dillard on serve. Oh my goodness. There's a kill. Everybody just kind of got out of the way of that one. Can't say I blame them. That ball come whistling by your head. Here's Cameron now. The lefty delivers the serve. There's Izzy. Gillespie picks up the point for the Lady Cougars. Another tough, even set as we had in the first set. Tie it up as Caroline Church delivers the serve for the Lady Cougars. Parker first to touch. Cameron sets it up. And Aubrey Brown just could not quite get a good return, so thus the point over on the Cleveland State side of the ledger. Here's Church now. Here's Buffet, but Caudle. She rejects to make it 13-11, and a timeout from Coach Jamie Hannon and Roane State. This is the Game Time Sports Network. Play about to resume from L. Quinton Lane Gymnasium. A decent crowd here for a Tuesday night on the campus of Cleveland State. I'm Jay Harper, Game Time Sports Network. And here is Caroline Church on serve and just tips the net to get it across. Buffet as Bowers saves it. Frakes did a nice job of kind of a behind the back over the head return there. Made me dizzy looking at it. And the serve. Well, Buffet on serve now. As that point going Roane State's way. Caudle and Bullock touches. Cameron teeing it up now for Parker, and that too long. So back on serve goes the Lady Cougars as Mathis comes in for Frakes, and she will go on serve. Parker, boy, she's got a strong return. Mathis to Bowers, And Piper puts it across. The reigning Offensive Player of the Week for the TCCAA, Piper Bowers. Just getting it over the net. On serve was Mathis. Parker, Gillespie touches. Now Mathis back over to Gillespie. The point going the Lady Raiders' way. 15-13. And here's Bullock on serve. And just a little too strong as Zoe Dillard. It glanced off of her. A tight one here, as was the case in set number one. Caroline Church up for Jayla Gillespie, and Jayla just could not get enough mustard on that. Jayla out of Greenville, Tennessee, a 5'6" sophomore. So we are all tied up at 15. As Jalen Bullock puts it on serve, can't get it across. So the point going Cleveland State's way. Megan Crocker on service. Buffet keeps it going for the Lady Raiders. There's Kennedy Caudle. And Parker manages somehow to get that back across for the Lady Raiders. Zoe Dillard. Oh my, nice job by Roane State. That looked like Dillard was going to pick up the point, and ultimately the point does go Cleveland State's way after Caudle was able to return. Crocker just barely getting it over the top of the net. Messer. And laying out. McKenna Cameron did all she could. Cameron and Foster, but there was Dillard and Caudle to make it 18-15. Megan Crocker delivers the serve. Buffet can't quite get enough air on the return. As we have another timeout with Cleveland State up by 5. Jay Harper, happy to be with you here on this Tuesday evening from the campus of Cleveland State. And this is the Game Time Sports Network. We've got a little programming note. We will actually be on site at Mike Rose Soccer Complex in Memphis, Tennessee tomorrow evening, when we will be bringing the sophomore night for Southwest Tennessee Lady Saluki Soccer. They will be facing Dyersburg State for their sophomore night tomorrow night, and we have been invited to come down and cover that particular event. So we are certainly happy to do so, and that of course will be here on the Game Time Sports Network. That'll be a 6 o'clock Central Time start. Buffet, the first to touch. Cameron teeing it up now, and there is Foster. And a beautiful return from Zoe Dillard. Crocker ready to deliver. Buffet puts it up for Cameron, and there's, wow, what a beautiful return from Jaden Parker. Parker touches again. Now over to Cameron. There's Parker, and just too much mustard on that. The Lady Cougars zeroing in on set point here. Parker to Cameron. And the line judge, Tia Woods, raising the red flag to indicate that was long. 22-16. Kenley Hayden on serve. Dillard with the touch. Mathis now over to Zoe, and Zoe. That hot return. Caroline Church back in the match as Kennedy Caudle takes a rest for the Cleveland State Lady Cougars. Dillard still in the match along with Messer. Izzy was on serve, and she remains on serve as we are once again at set point for Cleveland State. Jaden Parker. She is a fine player. She's everywhere, and she's only a freshman. So I know coaches Hannon and Jenkins will be excited to hopefully get her back next year. Parker delivers the serve. And another point. Going the Lady Raiders' way. Nice touch from Caroline Church. And that brings the second set to a close as the Lady Cougars now up 2-0 as the third set is about to commence from L. Quinton Lane Gymnasium. I'm Jay Harper, and this is the Game Time Sports Network. It's Jay Harper. Join me and Nashville radio legend John Bozeman, known as Johnny B, as we gab about all things radio, entertainment, and music in the Circling the Drain podcast. We share stories and experiences from our more than 90 combined years of being in the biz. Yeah, we're old. Come along for the ride. You never know where it may take you. It's the Circling the Drain podcast, available every Wednesday morning on all podcast platforms. I'm Jay Harper, Game Time Sports Network. Well, this has certainly been a competitive match. I will admit that it's kind of hard to believe that Roane State is only 1-6 in the conference. They have definitely got some very talented players and a young team as well. It's Coach Jamie Hannon, again in her first year. Steve Ballmer has assuming either retired or just elected to relinquish the head coaching duties of Roane State Volleyball. Dealt a lot with Steve last year. Kennedy Caudle, Megan Crocker, Piper Bowers, Reagan Frakes, and Caroline Church, along with Zoe Dillard on the floor for the Lady Cougars. Cameron, Buffet, Hayden, along with Foster, Cathcart, and Parker. They're on the floor for Roane State. Well, now we've got Izzy Messer. She comes in, and Caudle will have a seat. And now Bullock will come in as Cathcart will head to the bench. And it appears that Jaden Parker, the talented freshman for Roane State, will get this set going on serve for the Lady Raiders. And away we go as Messer the first to touch. There's Zoe Dillard, and Hayden gets it over to Buffet. Now Piper Bowers, Frakes, and Parker just could not get a real square return, or I do believe that was Hayden, but nonetheless, 1-0. Cleveland State. Dillard now. Cameron, and there is Foster. Bullock sets it up for Buffet, and Madison comes across. Now Bullock goes out, and Cathcart comes back in as Caitlin Foster, the sophomore, goes on serve. And nicely done. That is Lainey Cotter from Ooltewah, Tennessee, a sophomore. She picks up the point for Cleveland State. And here's Caroline Church now. As Bullock, the point going Cleveland State's way. Church on service. Cameron sets it up for Buffet, and that, a beautiful return just inside the line, as Tia Woods emphatically declares that that return was good. Cameron, McKenna Cameron serving. Dillard to Bowers, and Caudle. Beautiful touch on the return as Bullock tees it up now for Parker. There's Bowers, and boy, Izzy Messer. She's slipping and sliding all over the place to keep it going. And that is, and looked wide, but that ties it up at 3. Here is McKenna Cameron. Lainey Cotter, that is long, so the Lady Raiders up by 1. And remaining on serve is McKenna Cameron. Again, a very young squad on this Roane State roster. A lot of freshmen, but talented they are. We're tied back at 4 as Mathis comes in and Frakes goes out. So Mathis, the sophomore from Denton, Texas, replacing the Lawrenceburg, Tennessee freshman. Oh, Kennedy Caudle. 5'9" sophomore. Just down the road in Dayton, Tennessee, makes it 5-4. Cameron over to Buffet, and Madison making hay to make it 5-5. Madison, one of these talented freshmen. Bowers slaps it across. Cameron teeing it up now for Parker. Messer with the dig. Now there's Mathis setting it up for Cotter, and the point for Cleveland State. Cotter is replaced by Megan Crocker, and Megan will pick up the ball and serve it. And the return just a bit too strong from Eddie Brown. Yes, that is her name, Eddie. E-D-D-Y. And when I was getting pronunciations from Coach Hannon, I'm like, that's not Edie? No, that's Eddie. Oh, gosh. The point going Cleveland State's way. That makes it 8-5. Wow, what an amazing save by Roane State, but just couldn't keep it up. And we've got a whistle as the Lady Raiders asking for a quick timeout here. As the Lady Cougars from Cleveland State, they are up by 4, as you can see. Another reminder about the next match here. Pellissippi State comes to Cleveland State this Thursday night, so day after tomorrow. 6 o'clock start. Pellissippi State. They have really started to develop some fine programs there. Their basketball and baseball programs. Last year was their very first year of existence. And Pellissippi State basketball went to the final game in the regional tournament as Cleveland State picks up their 10th point. Megan Crocker delivers the serve. Buffet first to touch. Now Cameron teeing it up for Eddie. And Eddie makes the point. Jalen Bullock delivers the serve. Crocker. And there's Mathis, but a little bit of English on that one. Picks up a point for Cleveland State to make it 11-6 as Caudill goes out and Caroline Church, she comes in. Now here is Isabella Messer. Parker with a strong return. There's Bowers, but rejected by Parker. Makes it 11-7. Kenley Hayden, the lefty on serve. Whoop, I'm wrong. She is right-handed. It's McKenna Cameron. That's the lefty. Here's Bowers now. Nice dig by Crocker. Messer. And Zoe Dillard faking out everybody. Picks up point number 13. Piper Bowers. And Bullock keeps it in. Buffet nicely returned. Now Cameron teeing it up for Bullock. Bullock setting it up now for Cameron. Zoe Dillard, but boy, there was Foster to reject that. But ultimately, Reagan Freites grabs the point to double up things on Roane State, 14-7. Cameron to Parker. Messer and Bowers converge to keep that one going. Now Crocker over to Piper Bowers. There's Dillard with a soft return. That is out. The point to Cleveland State. And another whistle for a timeout. Jay Harper, Game Time Sports Network. Once again, a programming note. We are excited to be out in Memphis tomorrow evening for Southwest Tennessee women's soccer sophomore night. And they will be hosting Dyersburg State at the Micro Soccer Complex in Memphis. That's a 6 o'clock Central Time start. And we will have all of the introductions and awards for the sophomores, all of the ceremony. We were there last year for that. Coach Loth and company. Good program, good people, great kids. So we're excited to be able to share in the sophomore moment tomorrow evening. Cameron teeing it up for Parker. And Parker faking everybody out. Putting it across with that left hand to make it 15-8. Jaden delivers the serve. There's Isabella. And just can't quite get there. Kenley Hayden, boy, she laid out in an effort to save that point. Crocker is out. And Marissa Ray in now, the sophomore from Evansville, Tennessee. And Marissa on serve. Cameron over to Buffet. Bowers, Freites puts it across. Cameron back to Buffet. And there's Marissa Ray. Izzy puts it across now. Cameron. Buffet and Caroline Church makes it 17-8. Marissa, a sophomore, delivers the serve now. Back on service once again is Ray. That is long. So says the line judge, Jordan Rouse. Caitlin Foster puts it in play. Bowers. Ooh, just a nice little touch from Caroline Church. And ultimately, the volley goes Cleveland State's way as they are up by 10. Messer comes out. Caudle comes in. And it appears that Caroline Church will come out. And Kenley Jones from Gallatin, a freshman. Kenley with the serve. Cameron to Buffet. There's Marissa Ray. I think Marissa was just trying to save her life there as she just put her hands up. And that goes long. Sometimes you just go into survival mode and you luck out as the ball just happens to go back over the net. As hard as some of these players return, this young woman here, Buffet, she is so strong. 21-9. As Cleveland State zeroing in on another victory. Nice off return from Lily Cathcart, number 24 for Roane State. Nothing soft about that as Buffet picks up point number 10. Cameron. Just wide. So Frakes will come back out. Coach McDaniel swapping him in and out at a pretty good pace here as Brooklyn Mathis comes in to take Reagan's place. And Eddie puts it across. Eddie Brown, number 14. Bullock now, and there's Brown. And Marissa Ray with the dig to keep it going. Now Cotter. Oh my, what a beautiful move. Beautiful move from Madison Buffet. Madison to put it in play now. Touch by Jones. Cottle can't quite get it back over. Jones. And a point picked up by Cotter. Cotter and Ray go out. Zoe Dillard and Macon Crocker. They are in now for Coach McDaniel, who are on the verge of their 10th consecutive TCCAA conference victory. Bullock gets it to Parker. Nice dig from Crocker. And now we are at match point as Cleveland State doubling up on Roane State to make it 24-12. Here's Megan Crocker on the serve. Parker now to Bullock. And Roane State not going away quietly. That makes it 24-13 with Jaylyn Bullock going back on serve for Roane State. Dillard first to touch, and Cottle can't quite get it back over. Bullock preparing to deliver the serve. Mathis to Dillard. Bullock to touch. Cameron now. Parker surprises everybody with that method of return. Zoe Dillard gets it to Buffet. Now here's Cameron. And Eddie Brown. And the point. 3 consecutive points going to Roane State. As Cleveland State has sat there at match point for a number of serves here. Jones, Crocker now, forces it back over. Foster picks up another consecutive point. Roane State being stubborn here, refusing to concede anything. Zoe, and that is your final now, as Cleveland State managing to work their way to a consecutive set sweep here. But man, this Roane State squad, talented group. I would not want to face them in the tournament in Morristown at Walter State here in a couple of weeks. But that is your final now. 3-0 as Cleveland State again remaining undefeated in TCCAA conference play. Our next match that we will bring you on the Game Time Sports Network coming up this Thursday night, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, when the Lady Panthers of Pellissippi State come in here to El Quinton Lane Gymnasium, and I can assure you that is going to be a contest. And we hope you'll join us. It's always fun. Again, we salute Peyton McDaniel, serving our country over in the Middle East. She, the head coach for this Cleveland State squad. She's in the Air Force Reserves, and wouldn't you know it, right when the season starts, she gets deployed, serving her country. We wish her Godspeed, all of the folks that she serves with over there. We wish you well and safe harbor. Hopefully you get home here quickly and safely. So that'll do it. I'm Jay Harper. It's always a blast here. We hope you've enjoyed it. I know I have. Until next time, my friends, you stay safe. This has been a production of the Game Time Sports Network.